Joining us on the news to discuss this is foreign analyst expert Bolu Michael-Biyi, who joins us live from Kigali, Rwanda. Michael, many thanks for doing this with us. Let's just get started, shall we? How do you see the U.S. giving up on NATO membership and territory for Ukraine, its relationship with European countries, and even the larger extent of Ukraine's safety?
All right, thank you for having me. I think if the U.S. pulls through with that, with such plan, it's going to might damage the relationship with their allies, especially within the European Union, because most of the countries that are close to Russia, they rely on NATO for their security, and the USA, kind of can be viewed as weak, being that negotiation has not even started, and they are already making concessions. They might be seen as unreliable, and not strong enough to actually stand up to Russian aggression. And for Ukraine, not being part of NATO and also considering some of their land, it might put them in a vulnerable position against Russia attack in the future. So it's such a, I don't expect such from Trump, being that he's a businessman and he has negotiated a lot of deals throughout his life. But making such a concession too early, I think it might put him in a very weak position when it comes to the negotiation table. And this kind of action can actually embolden aggressive regimes, to kind of pursue aggression, because as it stands right now, it seems that there's a reward for aggression.
And do you think that the U.S. is weakening its position by offering to give Russia some things before official talks even start, like Crimea and Ukraine's NATO membership?
Yeah, I think they're kind of weakening their position because in diplomacy, you see, giving up leverage too early, takes away their ability to negotiate better terms, and this will keep Russia, asking for more, being that the U.S. is considering rather early before negotiation, negotiation and talks, So Russia might consider U.S. to be quite weak, and they might want to take advantage of that weak position, and like I said earlier, it seems that there's a reward for aggression if this pulls through, because the world will begin to wonder, this country has been aggressive, and at the end of the day, they are going back home with more land, and also their desire, which is for Ukraine not to be part of NATO.
And how likely is Russia will agree to end what Ukraine refuses to give up and remain independent as possible, considering Putin's demands?
It's unlikely that Russia would concede, in any way if Ukraine does not do what they want. And President Putin has made it clear time and time again that they will accept nothing short of the demilitarization and neutrality of Ukraine. What they want is to reduce the military capacity of Ukraine, and also for them to remain neutral, to not be part of NATO. So anything short of these two, I don't think there's any incentive whatsoever for on the part of the Russians to want to end the war in any way. So it's quite a very tight situation, and I hope that we find a compromise one way or the other. Let's see what happens the coming weeks and months.
And I have to ask at this point, the risk and rewards of trying to end the Ukraine war quickly, especially if it means that Ukraine won't get the security it wants or will have to give up land to Russia.
Okay, well, let me start with the risk. I think the most obvious one is that it rewards aggression, being that aggressive regime will now want to take the toll of Russia, being that they're going back, they might end up going back with more land, and then their wish, So that can embolden, aggressive regimes to pursue aggression, which is not good. And for Ukraine, they remain very vulnerable, if not more vulnerable than before. Because they're losing their land and they're not under a strong security body. And also the U.S. risk damaging their their relationship with their allies, and that's going to affect them economically and in every other. So when it comes to the war aspect, the more others want to increase. Some argue that the increase is the war. The thing about their the shipping routes have been blocked in some parts, which has made price of goods and services to increase. So if there's peace, we can see a level of economic stability. And lastly, because a lot of money is able to reach a consensus. So the USA, especially Europe, will now be able to channel this money that are spent on the war into more productive things like healthcare, education, and the likes.
Well, only time will tell. Bolu Michael-Biyi there, he's a foreign analyst, and he joins us just to give us a bit of insight on the possible agreement or an end to possible end to the Russia-Ukraine war. Many thanks again, Bolu, for joining us. I appreciate you for doing this with us. We'll switch gears now.